The Devil's Footprints. The night the unknown walked among us, the night of February 8, 1855, began like any other winter evening in rural Devon. A fresh snowfall had blanketed the countryside, leaving the landscape pristine and quiet under the moonlight. But when villagers awoke the next morning, they found something that would haunt England for generations to come: a continuous trail of hoof-like marks, each about 4 inches long and 8 inches apart, stretching as far as the eye could see. What made these footprints so terrifying wasn't just their appearance, but their impossible path. The tracks appeared on both sides of the estuary, suggesting whatever made them had walked straight across 2 miles of open water. They scaled 12-foot walls without disturbance to the snow above or below. They marched straight through locked courtyards and narrow drainpipes barely 4 inches across. In the village of Topsham, the prints climbed onto rooftops, appearing on both sides of pitched roofs as if the creature had walked straight up and down. Farmers found them leading into and out of barns whose doors had remained barred all night. Panic spread through Devon like wildfire. The London Times reported the phenomenon on February 16, noting how the tracks excited considerable superstitious feeling in the minds of many. Local clergy declared them the work of Satan himself, while naturalists scrambled for rational explanations. The sheer scale defied belief. Estimates suggested the single file trail covered between 40 to 100 miles, appearing in at least 30 different locations across Devon's rugged terrain. Eyewitness accounts from that time paint a picture of growing hysteria. Reverend H.T. Ellicombe of Clyst St. George recorded how servants refused to leave their quarters after discovering the prints leading up to the house's second-story windows. In Exmouth, a hunting party armed with guns and dogs followed the trail for miles before losing it near a dense wood, their hounds whimpering and refusing to go further. The most chilling report came from a village near Totnes, where the tracks stopped abruptly at the threshold of a graveyard, as if whatever made them had simply vanished among the tombstones. Scientists of the day proposed numerous theories, each more desperate than the last. Some suggested the prints were made by an escaped kangaroo from a private menagerie, though this failed to explain the supernatural consistency of the single file tracks or their aquatic feats. Others proposed experimental balloons trailing ropes, despite no evidence of such devices in the area. Naturalist Richard Owen, famous for coining the term dinosaur, embarrassingly blamed badgers, though he never examined the prints firsthand. The Victorian era's greatest minds found themselves humbled by the phenomenon. Charles Darwin, then working on the origin of species, reportedly collected newspaper clippings about the event but never published his thoughts. The Illustrated London News dispatched an artist to sketch the footprints, whose detailed engravings show marks resembling cloven hooves, but with strange, almost surgical precision in their spacing. Modern investigators have fared little better. A 2009 study by physicist Mike Dash analyzed contemporary accounts and concluded the prints likely resulted from an unusual atmospheric phenomenon where falling snow formed chain-like patterns. Yet this fails to explain how such marks could appear on vertical surfaces or why similar events haven't been recorded since. Cryptozoologists point to medieval accounts of devil's footprints across Europe, including a 1547 case in Germany where similar marks appeared around a murdered priest's home. Perhaps most unsettling are the parallels to other unexplained phenomena. In 2009, a Devon resident reported finding nearly identical footprints after a light snowfall, though these only extended a few hundred yards. The infamous Skinwalker Ranch in Utah has reports of similar impossible tracks appearing overnight. Even NASA's Apollo missions found mysterious footprints on the Moon's surface that couldn't be explained by the astronauts' movements. The psychological impact on Victorian England was profound. For a society already wrestling with Darwin's theories and industrial upheaval, the devil's footprints became a symbol of nature's refusal to be tamed by science. Superstitious villagers nailed horseshoes above their doors, while London's elite debated whether the tracks represented divine judgment or scientific ignorance. The event inspired Arthur Conan Doyle's The Adventure of the Devil's Foot, and some scholars believe it influenced Bram Stoker's depiction of Dracula's unnatural movements. Today, the mystery endures as one of history's greatest paranormal riddles. The original casts made of the prints have been lost to time, leaving only newspaper sketches and terrified diary entries as evidence. Every few decades, similar tracks appear somewhere in the world: in Brazil's Amazon in 1972, in Scotland's Highlands in 1999, always vanishing before proper investigation can occur. What walked through Devon that winter night? A biological anomaly since extinct? An interdimensional traveler? Or something far older, that occasionally reminds humanity how little we truly understand about the world around us? The snow melted, the prints faded, but the question remains: if it wasn't the devil, what was it? The people of Devon who woke to those prints would recognize our modern world's technological marvels as pure magic. Yet 168 years later, their unanswered question still chills us to the bone, because some mysteries refuse to stay buried, no matter how much time passes. Next time you see fresh snow outside your window, you might glance at it twice before opening the curtains. After all, you never know what might have walked there while you slept. If you found yourself staring at your ceiling tonight after this story, you're not alone. Some mysteries burrow into our minds and stay there. The devil's footprints remind us that history isn't always about answers. Sometimes it's about questions that keep us wondering. Let us know in the comments what you think left those marks, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that walk the line between history and the unexplained. Sweet dreams, if you can manage them.